Hi, my name is Antoinette Zloty, and welcome to Transitions. Today I have an interesting conversation ahead with two people here in our community in Winnipeg. I'd like to introduce you to Vivine Gautran and also to Moses Simiyu. Welcome to my show, and today our topic is career choices, and what we'll be doing is we'll be hearing from these two lovely people about the career choices that they made and the journey along the way, including the people who were supportive of them, as well as any challenges that you had along the way. And then afterwards, maybe we could talk a little bit about the youth and some of the options that might be out there for them and things for them to actually consider. So first, I'd like to start with you. Moses, would you please tell me a little bit about your career?
So I became a police officer in 2007. So I've been a police officer for 17 years now. I got on as a constable, and I was promoted 3 years ago to patrol sergeant.
So that is additional responsibility for others as well as yourself, right? As patrol sergeant?
Yeah, because this patrol sergeant, you're in a supervisory position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that would be of how many people?
So far, I supervise 6 constables.
6.
Yeah.
So going back to your youth, was that something that you were looking at possibly doing?
Actually, I got interested in policing at the time I was living in Switzerland. So originally I'm from Kenya.
Oh, yeah.
Then I migrated to Switzerland with my family. And I was really impressed with the policing services there. And I really wanted to become a police officer. But unfortunately, I was not a citizen, so they only employ citizens. So when I got to Canada here in Winnipeg, I learned that I can apply for police with my permanent residency.
Did you have any people along the way who were maybe suggesting to you that it wouldn't be such a good career and tried to steer you to something else?
Actually, no. I mentioned it to a brother of mine about it, and he was happy to hear that I was considering that, because himself he had served in the military. So he was impressed with my choice, and he was encouraging me. And my wife too was encouraging me. So I really didn't get anybody in the way who said or who expressed any negative sentiments about it.
So have you been in Winnipeg the whole time, or?
Yeah, I've been in Winnipeg the whole time from the time I came to Canada.
And how about you? Would you tell us a little bit about your journey into your career?
Yeah, so my journey started basically me thinking of going into hairdressing. So that was like one of my passions. I always did hair extensions of whatever sort. So I was going to be enrolled into Marvell Hair Studio, which is like downtown. I don't even know if it's there anymore. But just next door to that, there was an optical dispensary there. And yeah, I did some training there, and went on to becoming an optician in 2005. So I started off as a non-licensed optician. So I guess at the time, you have to be a licensed optician in order for you to practice. So what an optician is basically is, I always compare it to pharmacy almost. Like a doctor writing a prescription and you bring it to the pharmacist and the pharmacist filling your prescription. So what an optician does is basically essentially the same thing, but it's for eyes. So giving you sight more or less. So I thought that was intriguing. So as an optician, that's basically what we do. So the optometrist who does the examination, he'll give you a prescription, and then you come in to see myself, which is the optician. And I will help you assist in purchasing glasses, contact lenses if that needs to be filled. So a lot of it has to do with basically working with in the customer service field, so dealing with customers, patients. So it's more like a healthcare, but at the same time, there's a resale side of it, retail side of it. So for me, I took a liking to it because I'm a people person. And at the same time, I was also a single mother. So I needed a job that was going to be sustainable for me at the time, whereas hairdressing wasn't as sustainable. And standing up on your feet wasn't something that I wanted to do all day. So that's when I decided that this might be something of interest to me. And I absolutely love it and still love it. I've been doing it for 25 years now. I started in 1999 when I was younger, and I'm still there now.
You're still there. Oh,
Yeah.
that's really wonderful.
But yeah, I had a lot of mentors along the way, as far as like my mother. My children were the biggest mentors for me because just having a job that was going to sustain me I was going to be able to sustain their lives. So that's kind of what kept me going, and me getting my education as far as becoming a licensed optician, because I practiced for, I would say, about 8 years before I actually became a licensed optician. So there's the colleges that are involved, but definitely my kids were my driving force for me to pursuing like a career in opticianry.
So instead of becoming discouraged about having to look after 2 young kids and you're a single parent, instead it sounds like that was a motivating force behind you to actually continue to grow as a professional, right?
Definitely.
Because for some young moms out there, they are maybe thinking, oh, this is it. Now I have to focus on these kids' education. I don't have to, time to focus on my own. And they could end up, sort of a lot of time could pass there when they could be maybe moving ahead in thinking, well, you know what, maybe this job that I have at the pharmacy as an assistant could grow into where I could be one day be a pharmacist, or working with contacts, or working with glasses, or seeing that happening in a store, and you go, hey, I think that that's something that I'd like to pursue, and just keep little by little working on it, right, until you're actually qualified optician.
Yeah, and how that works as well, and what was the driving force and what kept me there in that career was the opportunity, because it's almost like an apprentice program. So you can still work full time, but school was kind of like outside of work, so it was once a week. So it's like more like an apprenticeship program where you need X amount of hours, and then we have like a national exam like anything else as far as like practicum goes. But you have to be in the physical job itself in order for you to pursue that career. So that again was very convenient as far as like having to stop, working and going to school full time. So I was still able to work and go to school.
Well,
So-
yeah, that's a good point. And for some people, they don't really have that opportunity. I mean, some careers don't really lend themselves very well to trying to work and getting the credits as well at the same time. And it's interesting, you had 2 kids. Any kids on your part?
Yeah, 2 daughters.
2 daughters?
Yeah.
How have these careers influenced them in terms of their decision making? First, I'll start with you. Have your career choices influenced your kids also in terms of what their choices are? Or are they too young for that?
No, they're not too young for that. But
No?
I think I was an inspiration to them
Mm.
because when I came here, I wanted to make sure that I can succeed for my kids. And getting on the police service helped me achieve that. I show my kids that it's everything is possible if you put an effort in it, and for them to learn from that. And I think they picked up from that, and they've worked hard in their own way because they have seen that from me, and I think it was a positive influence for them, and they have made good choices.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. And how old are your kids now?
My eldest is 31,
Mm-hmm.
and my second is 26.
26.
Yeah.
So you've had an influence on their decision making and changes in their lives then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think they have done well for themselves. They have gone to college and graduated,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they're okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's really great. And what about you, Vivian?
Well, they're sustaining their lives, the kids. But at this, yeah, I'm definitely not a driving force, but somebody who they look up to, who is always consistent, persistent, and just never gave up despite the odds, as far as like being a young parent
Mhm.
and just like going through it and just I never gave up. So like for me, and of course God played a big part in my life as well. So without him and without that strength behind me, you know, who knows where I'd be. But
Did you have a backup profession? Is there a profession that you would have loved to have been, or you thought about? No, you with hair, right? You
Me
like
with hair.
yeah, hair. And I know every time I see you, hair very lovely and everything.
thank you.
So, but besides hair, was there another one? Then I'm going to put you on the spot with that.
No, I don't
No?
think so. But being in this career, it almost would have gone like to become an optometrist.
Oh, I see.
On the other flip side, but at the
Mhm.
same time in the same realm.
In the same in the same.
Yeah, I still
line.
like dealing with customers, but
Uh-huh.
it's just I think it's the doctrine part of it, and
Yes.
just having like and helping that person give sight. Although I do that as well, but it's
Mhm.
also nice just having that medical side of it.
So,
Yeah,
yes.
and of course the salary is that much greater. So.
Greater. And so, how about yourself? What are you thinking you might be?
Because previously I worked, when I was in Switzerland, I was working with the United Nations, and I
Mhm.
worked with the conference services. So I got to meet people from all over the world.
Mhm.
Yeah, and like I said before, because of that career I had before, put me in a good position to get to where I am now. Even if you get to a point where you've retired, there are opportunities that come up in other areas where they need your expertise,
That's true.
whether it's with the financial institutions or insurance and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They might need your expertise there, so it's something that you can do after your retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. So, what about diversity? Have you seen an increase? I saw your graduation, or actually, was it
Yeah.
the graduation
Yeah, that was
picture
the
or
graduation
the
picture.
yeah? Okay, so I saw a graduation picture with you in it, and it reminded me of me because I was the only black woman in the whole picture.
Yeah.
So, do you think that, or do you keep in touch with any of the people who you studied with? And do you ever wonder if there's been more diversity in the optical world there?
I'm sure there is, but there's not. Like, as far as Manitoba goes,
Mm-hmm.
from what I can gather, there's not a lot
Yeah.
of black opticians. There's very little.
Very.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know why it is. I don't know if it. I don't know.
Do you
I think it's maybe a lot of people don't know what an optician is, so it's a matter of educating the public as to what we do. As far as like schools goes, right? Like there's not a lot of like platforms to say, oh, do you want to become an optician? these are the requirements that you need. Because really all it is just a grade 12. When I started my career, it was a program that was run out of Red River. So it was NAIT, the college is called. It runs out of Alberta, but we had like a spectator like in the school that we attended weekly. So it was a 2-year course to become a licensed optician, and then it was another 2 years to become a contact lens fitter. So whereas now I'm the spectator, whereas before we went to the school, now everything's done online. So it's convenient for individuals to, if they're undecided as far as like career goes, I think it'd be a great opportunity for them to, but it's just a matter of reaching the students, I guess, per se. So I guess when it comes to our association, I think that's something that has to be something that we can do as far as like going into schools like around graduation time and kind of just educating the students who are graduating who don't really have a placement or an idea of where they want to start their career. But I think I love my job. I love dealing with the public.
When you say your association, and that is an association of how many people here in?
I don't know how many here in Manitoba, but as far as Canada goes, there's about, I think online I checked, it was about 6,700 opticians in Canada alone. So.
In Canada, yeah.
Yeah.
So probably down east you might find more diversity in that profession and other professions as well, right? Whereas in Manitoba, the population being not quite as diverse, right? So
we're getting
that's
there.
the numbers. Yeah, it's increasing. It's increasing in diversity. So a representation would be good as well. So how about yourself? Like, what do you think in terms of diversity? Are you seeing more young people, men and women and people?
There is, I'm saying that compared to when I started, and the service is taking deliberate steps to increase the diversity within the service, such that we've come up with the diversity workshops, which I actually run every year. We invite potential candidates from diverse communities. So we have a way of reaching these specific communities and inviting potential candidates from there to come to a diversity workshop, which we hold at the police headquarters. So in this diversity workshop, we give them information on the application process, because we realize we have newcomers who've arrived here, but they're not familiar with how to apply to get into the police. And it was holding back diversity programs for the service. So we bring them in and give them advice on how to navigate the application process. For example, you have to get your foreign credentials assessed before you can put in an application. So we are holding these workshops to make sure that we are giving people from minority communities the information that they need, which places them in a better position when they get in the application process. So that way we see at the end of the day we are getting more people actually being successful. We go into these communities with the same message, and we are getting results. And I'm sure in the years going forward, it will be seen that we've done a good job of increasing diversity within our workplace. Yeah.
It's really good, and that would be, I guess, years ago it was mostly men who would go into that profession. So the number of women, LGBTQ.
Yeah, we do have, in fact, like I'm talking about the diversity. We do have the diversity workshop, and we have one specifically for women. Yeah. And we reach out to the LGBTQ community as well, because we have members of the service who are in the LGBTQ community. So we also use them to reach out
Good.
about the opportunities within the service, not just as an officer, but could be civilian staff.
So if, say I was in grade 11 now, I know I would, and I'm thinking, oh, I'd like to be in law enforcement. What would you say to me, like in terms of maybe some of the volunteer options, and do you think that I should just think carefully on what
Yeah,
I'm
what we
doing?
advise, what we normally advise the younger people is about the volunteer positions in the service. But right now we have good programs that they can participate in. Like we have cadets.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're going to college, you can apply to be a part-time cadet. That gives you a very nice view of what police actually do. And at the end of your studies, you can be able to make up your mind if this is something you want to do.
You do.
So we try to avoid situations where people get in the service, probably they didn't have a previous idea what it entails.
Mhm.
They go ahead and actually graduate, start working, then they realize this is not for me. So this gives the younger people
Them,
the chance to, you're not really a police officer, but you're working with the police, you're close with police officers, you see what they do every day, and that you are able to see if this is something that you are able to do.
So it's sounding to me like both of you don't really have any regrets in terms of your choices.
Absolutely not.
Oh, gee, I thought I'd hear some regrets here. So
No regrets.
no regrets. Oh, that's really very, very good. You know, there are people who are in their chosen profession or professions, I should say, and they're out there and they're not very happy in them. And it would be really good for them to really examine that and think life is so short that it's probably a good idea to take a look at how you could sort of reconfigure things so that you get into an area that you really do enjoy. And it's just a pleasure hearing you guys talk so positively about your professions. I think that you know, if there was a career day anywhere that I'm having a career day, I would say that the both of you would be just amazing to have come and talk to the students about,
Yeah.
you know, the life. Okay, so was there even one challenge? Let's say there was the one time where you thought, like, was there not just even like a little bit of doubt that creaked in along the way? Yeah.
I would say, like for me, myself, like, not to scare anybody, you know, school is different for everyone, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
So,
that is so true.
so like for the spectacle part of the course, the 2-year course, it was okay, you know, a lot of math involved. But as far as like the second year, so I found that contact lenses was a little bit more challenging for me. So at some point it was like, is this really going to be worth it for me? Am I going to be a doctor after this? Because that's literally what it felt like. It was that challenging, right? So, but you push through, you get on. Like, you know, there's always going to be stumbling blocks along the way. But that part of the career, when it came to the school, was a little bit more challenging. So it's just, you know, you just got to put a little bit more power into it and study harder. But I got through it.
Yeah. Good,
Because you're
good.
dealing more with the anatomy of the eye directly, opposed to glasses that are sitting further away. So there's a lot more involved
Yeah,
as far as that goes. But that's pretty much the only part
that's the only part.
that you know. And then yeah, but on a regular basis, on a regular every day, it's nice to be able to meet someone new every day.
Oh,
and
I
just
see.
to hear their lifestyle. You know what I mean? And just to help them select it. As an optician, you wear many, many hats. So there's never, the next day is never the same.
Never the
So
same.
it's always a new day. You know, there's always new challenges. So
So that's amazing. How about yourself? Wasn't there just, can you think back to one, just like a situation even?
When you're hired as a police officer, then you immediately go to the academy. And so everything's going fine. You're doing academic work. You're getting your good scores. You know, everything is going well. And then you go to firearms training. I did not come from a background of guns. So I never held a gun in my life before. So of course, when you're going to firearms training and the first shot goes off and you're like, oh my God, that's how it sounds.
yeah.
But then after that you have good instructors. They train you very well. So you soon get over it. And then getting on the job there, the other side of things that you see takes you time to get used to. Some of things that the public doesn't see, difficult situations, but you soon get over it and you're just fine. Because you're working with people who have been through it, they'll advise you and they'll bring you up to speed and you'll be just fine.
Well, and with that, I think that we're coming to the end of the show right now, and I want to thank both of you for coming here and being a part of Transitions. I think you made some wonderful contributions to our community by sharing your stories, and I'm hoping that our viewers at home some of them will be of younger generation, and even if they aren't, maybe they could pass on the information to other young people that they know to, try to see if you can find your niche out there, something that you really love, and go for it and stick with it. So I also would like to encourage our viewers to watch us on YouTube as well, because there might be some other episodes out there that you would like to check out and enjoy. So thanks again. Moses, wonderful speaking with you, and also Vivine. And I wish you all the continued success in your respective careers.
Thank you for
Thank you
having
for
us.
having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.